Okay, here we go. Once again, we are back with more blade sharpening. And honestly, everything is kind of as is right now. But, got a squeeze bottle of water. This will actually be a lot better for putting a layer on the stone. So, I'm going to do a little bit of flattening out with this blade because the bevel, I accidentally kind of slanted it a little. So, good thing I'd suggest to do good thing I'd always suggest to do is probably definitely check your angle before doing anything. And I know that I had put it up before to deal with the necks, but I kind of think that now that I'm just gonna think that now that because they're very nearly gone, just gonna adjust the Okay, that looks better. All right. We're just going to lock that a little bit more into place. Not crazy tight, but enough so that it's secure. And then finally, squeeze bottle of water. That up because we don't want any accidents. And then massage the water into the stone so there's a good film. Nice pressure on the blade. Whoops. Just a little bit more. to get a little bit more water because the slurry has to be... I just want to make sure that the slurry is a little bit more on the liquid side. So this is where I can feel a little bit confident with going slightly faster. Just because, especially because you don't want to take up too much, you know. There is such a thing as burning daylight. And I will say that at around 5, I think, I might end up, because I didn't realize what time it was. God. will say, while that wasn't desirable, blade safety. If you drop your blade, don't try to catch it. Let it drop. And then pick it up. It's not worth getting a finger chopped off. Okay, now here's what I will say. I'm gonna take this out of the honing guide. And then I'm gonna work on the back of the blade. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is use my fingers, primarily like my index and my thumb. I'm trying to use it a bit as a honing guide. And like I said, you don't need to take what's it called? The important thing is to be conscientious about what you're doing. I'm trying to not go too fast, especially because the nicks are really coming down. Because I will say that I am going to attempt to try and just like very briefly try to just get this side here, just because those nicks are gonna, any nick in the blade is something that is very likely going to increase the probability of problems. You can never get it down to zero. The probability, I mean. You can't get it down to zero. You can only do what you can to mitigate it. And the other thing, too, again, that I will say, this is just a cheap hand plane from Harbor Freight. So it's not a huge loss if I accidentally mess up the blade profile, and it's not like it's incurable. It may be frustrating, but it is not a problem with, it is not a solutionless problem. It's not an insolvable problem. It'll just take patience. I think we got it. Hey! Yeah. We got it, you guys. Sometimes you just got to take the gamble and trust yourself, because sometimes you got to just take the gamble and trust yourself, because look at that. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, but that is a fairly nicely sharpened blade. Let's see how the front bevel looks. Yeah, the front bevel's got a little something, but it's not going to require a whole lot of like scraping and whatnot. I will say that I know I'm kind of doing a freehand sharpening at the moment. I should be using a honing guide, but this is one where I'm gonna be doing like multiple, like kind of stop and go passes. I'm just kind of working with my flow right now as I understand. I'm trying to follow my gut instincts, and this does look much better from where it was before. So, what time were we at now? 4:42. Okay. Yeah, because I might, because I want to make sure that I move on to something else before long, so that you guys can see it. But this is definitely already much better than where it was before. I think what I'll do at this particular juncture, because I have been using them a fair amount, I'm going to sharpen up the spoke shave. Yeah, so this is what it looks like without the blade. And the reason why these are called spoke shaves is because these were originally made to shave down and refine the shape. The shape of wagon spokes, wheel spokes, honestly, in like all forms. Okay, so we're definitely going to do the honing guide for this one. Yeah, this one we don't have to do too much with, specifically because even though I've been using this, it's not as like it's honestly not as nick filled as the other one was. Yeah. And then I don't know how well you guys can actually see this, but if you look, this is the discoloration from the stones. So a lot of these right here are like iron particles caught in the water, and that's essentially the slurry that you're looking for. Okay. All right, so this is going to be slightly tough with the honing guide because the spoke shaves aren't as long as like a plane or a chisel. So it's a much shallower angle, and it's a shallower bevel. Because you're going to find, too, not every blade fits in the honing guide. And granted, this is a this specific honing guide that I'm using, this is a Rockler honing guide that was specifically made to go along with a set of chisels that I was gifted by my father-in-law. So there is my usual belief in that it is not just about, it's not about what the tool was meant for, it's about what can it do. So I don't know if it's because the stone is starting to dish already, which means it's starting to concave in the middle. I just don't know if this angle, if it's sitting right. So I think, funny enough, I'm actually going to take back my previous judgment, ditch the honing guide, and do hand sharpening with this one. And that's the thing. I know I'm constantly wetting this, and I'm hoping there's no such thing as flooding a water stone, but it's important to keep these hydrated because they don't do well when they're not. So how I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this and kind of two thumbs, nice. Okay. There we go. This actually looks better. Just as a heads up, especially if you were to say to do this on an oil stone, you know, you're very likely going to get some amount of scratches on your fingers, but that's only if you do it in the way that I'm doing it right now. So I encourage you guys to kind of do some research for yourselves about proper waterstone techniques. I usually try to do my due diligence with research, but sometimes you have to figure out what's best for you by doing it, because you're not going to know until you try. More probably. Yeah. Yeah, this one didn't need a whole lot of sharpening at all. And in fact, probably, what time is it now? 10 minutes to 5. Because the place that I'm hoping to go to before all this is going to close at 6. So I'm going to very quickly actually lean this right here, and we're going to flip the stone over and go from 220 to 1000 grit. Take this, flip it around to the other side. Okay, and then coat of water. Yeah, because most of this work was on the front bevel, I should say. So I'm going to first go with the back bevel. So same thing like before. Like this. Yeah, because like I said, I'm trying to figure out the hand positions that work best for me, that are conducive to giving the blade a good edge. So that looks pretty good. And then we're going to polish up the front bevel. Just make sure the angle's nice and good. Well, the good news is it is still sharp. I think just where my technique still leaves something to be desired, at least with freehand sharpening. Like I said, I don't know if how well my camera is going to capture this, but there is a kind of almost what looks like a secondary bevel right there, but that's from not holding it steady. But the thing is, though, this still looks like a good cutting edge, and I don't know for certain. So who knows? Yeah. So at least I got 2 blades out of the ones that I wanted to do at the moment. And I'm probably going to try to do more tonight. After trying to take care of some other things. And honestly, this is going to be the first of hopefully a series of streams I'd like to do. Maybe call it the shop series or something. I don't know. But yeah. So everything I think worked out pretty good. And we'll continue with more of the blade maintenance. But other than that, hopefully catch you guys soon. Have a good night. See ya.